Fresh from site, the CEO of Atomic Eagle is going to tell us how he plans to grow this uranium project. Joining us now is Phil Hoskins. Phil, it's a pleasure to have you on. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Shay. Just getting over the jet lag, but thanks for having me on.
Look, thank you for seeing through the jet lag to join us. Let's kick off with your Muntanga Uranium Project in Zambia. You've just come back from boots on the ground, out on site. Mate, take us through what you did out there.
Yeah, so I guess post RTO in late 2025, and I had a couple of day visit in December last year just to meet with the ministry and meet the team. But we were heading into the wet season, so this was my first extended trip out to Zambia. Obviously, wanted to spend some time in the capital first, meet all different levels of government, meet the consultants that have been responsible for various permit applications, environment and social impact assessment, resettlement action plan, auditors, tax advisors, the whole shebang, and then obviously spend a lot of time out at site. So we're coming out of the wet season in Zambia. We've got the largest drill program planned since 2008. And wanted to make sure that I understood things around the infrastructure for the project. I guess see the quality of the targets with my own eyes and understand the scale of what the team's up against working out there. And yeah, it was a fantastic visit on the government side. There's great support. There's always been a lot of CSR work done by the predecessor. I think our environmental approvals and resettlement action plan will be coming through and approved, I think, this quarter. But we're not about building the project. It is all about resource growth in 2026. As I mentioned, very large exploration program planned, and being able to see those targets has given me a hell of a lot of confidence about the potential of the asset.
Well, let's get into what that looks like. You keep saying very large program, mate. It's huge. It's 30,000 meters of drilling is going to be undertaken. Take us through, the nuts and bolts of this. What does this look like?
Yeah, I think 30,000 meters will be a first pass. I think by the end of the year, we would have drilled upwards of 50,000 meters, I think. And the plans are threefold. It is all aimed at resource growth and getting as much increase into the inferred resources this year. We can always go to infill drilling in 2027. But starting off, it's the Chisabuka target where we added a 9.7 million pound resource towards the end of 2025 with only $700,000 worth of drilling. And the announcement showed a plan view of the rest of that target. We've probably only drilled 25% of the target area, and we know there's uranium mineralisation there. It needs to be infill drilled to 100 by 100 metre spacing to enable resource conversion. And so that's the start of the program. While we're doing that, the real step change in the resource, I think, will come from these two other target areas, both Namakande and Muntanga North. These target areas have the same signatures, both geochemically, radon in soils, and geophysically, airborne radiometrics, that are pointing to the presence of radioactive material and we believe uranium mineralisation. Before we get the rig in there, we've got two field crews walking around with what's called a scintillometer. This gives you ground geophysics, so radiometrics on the ground, and really refines the targets to make sure that we're putting the drill holes in the right locations. But to begin with, and these are huge target areas, Muntanga North covers an 80 square kilometre area. There's 8 discrete targets within them. Some of them are up to 5 kilometres in strike length. And when you consider that a 10 million pound resource addition at Chisabuka covered an area of 800 metres by 600 metres, the potential is huge with some of these targets. And starting with a 400 by 400 metre spacing, whatever we find, we'll infill drill in the back part of the year. But that's where I believe the step change in resource can come from. We'd love to get to 100 million pounds plus by the end of the year, and then use 2027 to take that significantly expanded resource into a much larger production profile, which we believe for this heap leach asset that's already got outstanding low strip ratios, great recoveries from very simple heap leach and low acid consumption. It is only scale that we believe is going to take this into a vastly economic project moving forward in the uranium space.
Now, with multiple rigs on site and a huge drill program ahead, tells me there's going to be a lot of news coming for investors. But what are some of the near-term items that you're working on investors can look forward to hearing about?
The nearest term's our quarterly coming out tomorrow, but in terms of material news, I think drill results are very close. So we want to get some results out about how things will be going at Chisabuka. That is the beauty of the drilling that we're doing in the exploratory phase. You don't need to wait for assays. You can use estimated grades from Gamma Probe. So the turnaround will be quite quick. So drill results, I think, is what investors are looking for. The sort of secondary asset of the company that is more option value is an asset in Niger. It's an asset that's 116 million pounds at 1300 ppm. Those who have listened to videos understand that the company's been in discussions with the Niger government about that asset that had been in arbitration. There's a pause on that at the moment, and negotiations on trying to get that back. I think during the second quarter of this year, I think there'll be an update in that regard. The preference being to get the asset back and advance it forward, given it's a world-class asset. Of course, the company could continue with arbitration proceedings. So that's something else to keep an eye on. I know investors look at that as a fantastic option value for the company, but really the main bit for us is the drilling. We believe we're undervalued relative to our other African peers on an EV to resource ounce basis. I think we're about $3 a pound, and a lot of the others are between $6 and $9 a pound. So you've got a development ready asset. The permits are coming through, so those things won't stand in our way. We're in Zambia, which is third in the Fraser Institute within Africa. No free carried interest in Zambia. And I think you're going to see a very stable political climate with everyone expecting the president to be re-elected later this year. So fantastic place to be developing a uranium asset coming into a period in the next few years where everybody expects a big shortfall in uranium supply. So we're really excited about 2026. We've got numerous angles to adding value to the company and look forward to keeping shareholders informed as we progress.
Listen, Phil, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, especially with the bout of jet lag. I look forward to the next update.
All good. Thank you, Shay.